Hey guys, the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. I have a great explanation of how to find clarity in all the confusing chaos of making something. I have a great solution for you. When I get a project, most of the time it is explained really terribly. Communication in our field is so horrible. Like a creative brief, I've never had a really, really good one. I shouldn't say that. I've only had a few really great creative briefs. I don't know if this helped, but I did used to ask a lot of questions, and that's because I gave companies and people the benefit of the doubt that they understood what they wanted. But now I understand that they're coming to me because they don't know what they want and they need my help. And I have, 15 years experience in design industry, digital and print and illustration and just everything between. Like I just do everything, and I have my own creative studio. And, that actually kind of backfires when I'm getting a creative person, an art director or a creative director, because they are intimidated and have a problem with what I'm doing to begin with. Change the filter just now because I want to be prettier. They think that they know better, but for some reason, they're not able to do it. And you know why the reason is because only you can do what you do. They looked at your portfolio, they saw a previous project you have, or you're on staff and you're the go-to person for something cool, and it does kind of build a lot of pressure on you, or you're the new person, so they kind of are putting you through the punches. So let's say the project is, make a homepage banner, or no, okay, not even that. They wouldn't even, honestly, you never would get that much clarity. Let's say they have a holiday or some kind of campaign coming up, like they want to make a sale, and like a big sale, it's like Memorial Day or something, and they need a new homepage, and that's how they would describe it to you. They wouldn't say, I need a banner that's 1440 wide by 800 high because that's all the developer is agreeing to put onto the page for Memorial Day. They'd say we need homepage banner. So then you can start to ease into this project very easily, and any kind of project like this, by kind of starting to clarify those things that I mentioned. Where is this going? What is the size? Am I using it? And what are the CTAs? And what is the link experience? There's so many more questions you can ask. And then you're actually kind of, instead of you being the disorganized, crazy, kooky artist, you're helping them be organized. These people who don't do anything else, they don't even know how to organize and communicate anything properly. So you're kind of being their therapist and finding out for them. And just when you start to feel that overwhelm in your body, I used to start to feel not like a heart palpitation, but it sounds kind of like that. I started to kind of get a little bit upset that way, where I'd start to feel incredibly overwhelmed, and I felt like our timeline was slipping away. But that was back when I thought I was the team or something. Now I refocused, shifted my mindset to know that I'm literally just helping out. I'm here to help you. You're just some kind of crazy person who's giving me you're a wacky neighbor who needs my help. Because when I started to think of it as my something, when I started to think of it I am the be all end all, which I am, it made me just go crazy, just like a dad with too many kids or something. I don't know why I said that, but you take on too much. And what I'm saying is basically create a boundary when you start to feel overwhelmed, because obviously you've already taken in too far. And you're gonna get burned out, and that's not gonna help anybody, because, to think about the red shoes and the fairy tale, just because you're the greatest dancer. She's a beautiful ballerina, and she can dance so beautifully, and she can never stop with compulsive motion. It's burnout in disguise. The shoes never let her rest, and it's a metaphor for the modern hustle. So you're gonna take inspired action. It would really help if they could give you some information, for instance, all the stuff I mentioned. They could kind of gather all that together and kind of say, what is the sale? Is it up to 40% off, or is it 40% off? But you get used to it after a while. And honestly, it's taken me 15 years, but eventually I started to realize it's not the end of the world, and it actually doesn't matter. And it's going to be okay. And that only happened because I cracked so much, the light had to get in deep. But I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to actually just start from day one at the project or the new job or the creative brief. Just already tell yourself how little it matters, because overwhelm and pain brought onto yourself, and that stress is just not worth it, because you're the only one who can finish it. That's something else I wanted to mention, is that it's really, when you start to get your feedback and approval process, that's the funniest part, is that it's oh, we can change that, or we should do this, or oh, actually change all the copy. We screwed we screwed up. Like, it's not 40% off, it's up to 50% off now. And like, we don't know what the link experience is. Like, somebody needs to make a landing page for this and that kind of thing. And, they're just making mistakes too. And they can't actually have as much like forethought and creative like overview as you have. But secondly, like if you have a block and you're just not sure where to start, I'm telling you, like all the things you get inspired by and you kind of want to save for like your own projects, just don't worry about it. Like use it now. If you saw some cool pin or there's an artist you admire and you went to like a cool exhibit this weekend, like pull from there and like just go for it because you have to don't say anything. Not speaking is the best way to do it in the approval process. Present your work, just kind of state what it is. Be like, this is the banner, this is the homepage, this is how the mobile will look, this is how like assets, secondary assets. But don't explain or say what you're inspired by because they're not going to really use that the way you're thinking, where they're saying like, oh, like came up with this awesome idea. She was inspired by like this exhibit and this kind of thing. They're not going to use that and talk to the CEO about that. They're just going to get really caught up on like what color is that? I think we should change, this to be like I don't think that should be bold, like that kind of stuff, because that's what they're there for. So don't hurt yourself and get sick because everyone else has such a problem. I got really sick from the incredible stress of this industry. Maybe it's just corporate world or just working in general, but everyone I worked with has been extremely ill and had to go like be hospitalized for nervous breakdowns and like mental anguish, and everyone's medicated, and like there's a lot of pain that comes from this overwhelming stress, and it's not worth it. Like your health is more important than all of these projects. Ice cream truck. I got laid off twice. I realized it wasn't worth it when I, had like I had horrific like, health issues. Not 100% from like being so stressed out at the company, but from just the combination of it all and like the commuting and just other people just stressing you out and just worrying about security. That's what, work is. It's just a way to kind of have some security. And we're special, unique artists, and we're able to have multiple streams of income. We don't have to worry about I don't remember what I said. Another interruption of ice cream truck. I really want ice cream right now. Set boundaries and be value like make your time worth it. Like value yourself by valuing your time. When I got laid off, like yeah, I was just saying that, right? Like you realize how little they care about you. This job you have now is probably like another layoff. It's 2 years, like every full-time job is a 2-year like span. So if they don't lay you off in 2 years, just like you should find something else anyway, like just to get the pay grade bump because you're not going to get promoted, not because of you, just because, it's just the way things are now. So, what you're getting out of like this full-time gig is kind of like your 401k, like maybe it has a match and maybe you get some health insurance. And I mean, you do definitely get health insurance probably, and then you kind of get your like you feel a little secure that you have a place that you get your steady paycheck from, like steady-ish kind of paycheck. But like there's a freedom in just letting go and just realizing like this isn't really like on your side. They're not really for you. And your health and boundaries and time like are more valuable than what they're offering you. And you're doing a great job. And like I care about you and I don't want you to get to invest yourself too much in like these other people's visions. Just, take on freelance work and take on full-time work and make your own projects too. And, I'm not saying have an Etsy store, but, have a Shopify store and start your YouTube channel because that's what the best way to express your personal brand is and to teach and like let's share wisdom and like when we trust each other, that's the best way to kind of get clients. So, I'm working on my like 10 million bosses ago, like her website for her beautiful fine art pieces. I'm a designer and an artist too, but like, in this case, I'm being the digital like web designer and she's being the fine artist. So there's a world out there that we haven't even imagined because it doesn't exist right now. And that's cool. It's really cool, actually. And the best way to kind of remind yourself of that is daily ritual bullet journaling. And that's really hard to do, to get into probably. But when you rewrite the same thing you wrote down yesterday, like again, at the top of the bullet page journal, like a page like this kind of thing, it's just the best way to remind yourself of like what your values, goals, like you said in the last video, what they are and what you're trying to achieve and what like next thing you could do for that. So for me, I'm trying to make some digital downloads now to try to like focus on that too. And, the money and the security, like it just comes because you finally let go of chasing it, to be honest. It just comes at you. I had an interview the other day for a freelance job that I turned down. The guy was like such a lunatic. He's like, "Oh, you're married, like your husband makes money, right?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like you're trying to neg me like into like he didn't even offer me like what bad salary he was gonna say, but he kind of wanted me to like know that it was gonna be not enough money. He's like, "You don't have to eat steak every day. Like you could have like a job that is really a great atmosphere," and like I don't even know. Sometimes they think that having a perk of like Twizzlers like, or donuts or something is enough to make up for not being paid enough and having like a bad commute, like having to work from in the office or something. They, try to get you. And a few years ago, I might have just been like nice enough to kind of imagine that was true, like trying to give him a benefit of a doubt or something. But now I just know like that sucks. So it was normal in the interview, but then 12 hours later wrote an email and was like, listen, I don't even want to do a freelance project for you. Like, I don't even want to do a weird packaging thing for you because he looked at my packaging portfolio, which you should look at it on my website. It's beautiful. He said, this isn't really very branded, like it's not really like showing like what the brand is. I was like, okay, so you're not good at communication. Like I don't even want to know what kind of creative brief you're going to give me, but I'm sure it's gonna suck. And I'm sure if you don't think this is good, then why are we talking? Like, please, like, there's a lot of people who want packaging work right now, probably. Find that person. Like, I've got a lot of projects going on. I'm just being, open to like finding a new client here. And it was like ridiculous. And one time also my friend like was interviewing for a raise and the guy offered her Twizzlers. He's like, you can have all the Twizzlers you want, but not a raise. And when you're pregnant and have a baby, you could have like a lot of maternity leave, and he means like unpaid, like you could just, not work and they'd still take you back maybe after a year or two, which is, I mean, I know this is America, so we have to get what we can get, unpaid maternity leave, like is a like good thing here, I guess. But Twizzlers is not a paycheck raise substitute, but it's hilarious. It's like you just have to laugh because it's so horrible. Like, but just that's boundaries, and that's what it's like. There's really crazy people here in this industry who are somehow at the top, like mostly like dudes selling women's stuff for whatever reason. Like they're not like cool and like want to wear makeup or something, but like they're selling makeup or like they're selling women's like clothing, and they just think that women are a good customer, and they probably are, and they probably were. But women, we are changing, and we're not just shopping all the time, like with our husband's like income. Like things are different now, and stores are different, and online shopping is different. And if you're like staying behind, like the company that hires you, like they might not be a great fit. So you can turn stuff down. You can say you're like not even like all that or whatever. To understand everything is to forgive everything, Buddha says. So ultimately finding like the calm in the storm and like being at one minute atonement, like peace in yourself. I spiritual quest kind of meditation walk where like the symbols on the path, like I try to let them inform me. And the crystal I'd suggest for clarity in the chaos would be smoky quartz, get clarifying one. And actually, oh my gosh, look at my horrible filter on my face. But let me know if you've had these kinds of experiences below. See you number 3 of the series and looking forward to it. Bye.